It started with one of the loudest reactions we've seen in months, but not in the way anyone expected. Bianca Belair returned to SmackDown for the first time since Elimination Chamber, but the cheers weren't there. Instead, the live Las Vegas crowd made one thing crystal clear: they were done playing nice. Every time Bianca tried to speak, the boos got louder. It wasn't a mixed reaction. It wasn't confusion. It was a complete rejection. And for a superstar who's been nothing but dominant, clean, and heroic for years, it left fans at home scratching their heads. Why is the crowd turning on one of WWE's most respected athletes? Why now? At first glance, it makes no sense. Bianca's been wronged in the storyline, not the other way around. She earned her WrestleMania title shot the hard way by winning the Elimination Chamber. She got blindsided by Naomi and then ghosted by someone she once considered a friend. And yet, as she stood across from Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, trying to speak her truth, the crowd didn't want to hear a single word of it. The boos were deafening, cutting through every attempt she made to explain herself. That alone flipped the script entirely. Because now, WWE isn't just telling the story, the fans are writing it with every reaction. So what changed? Why is the same woman who once wowed crowds with her power, her grace, her hair-whipping swag, and her feel-good babyface energy now being treated like the villain in her own redemption arc? Some fans online think the answer is simple. It's fatigue. Not with Bianca's in-ring ability, that's never been in question, but with her character. Unlike Rhea Ripley or Io Sky, who've evolved constantly through heel turns, faction shakeups, and persona tweaks, Bianca has largely remained the same since her main roster debut 5 years ago. Same look, same promos, same underdog energy even when she's clearly the top dog. Fans may not hate her, they might just be tired of seeing the same act over and over again. But that's only part of the story. Another issue seems to be Bianca's role in this current triple threat storyline. 4 weeks, all she's done is complain. First, she didn't want Rhea in the match. Then she didn't want Naomi back in the picture. Then she wanted Jade Cargill dealt with. And when none of those things went her way, her tone didn't change, it just got more bitter. While Rhea kept dominating and Io stayed silent and mysterious, Bianca came off as repetitive. Some fans argue that she's been spinning her wheels. And in a business where crowd perception is everything, the moment your character stops progressing, the audience starts looking for someone else to root for. Which brings us to the emotional boiling point: Naomi's promo on SmackDown. After weeks of silence between the two, Naomi finally confronted Bianca in the middle of the ring, and she didn't hold back. She told the world she's been texting, calling, even leaving voicemails, and Bianca never once replied. Naomi said she never wanted to air their business in public, but Bianca gave her no choice. And then came the part that hit hardest. Naomi reminded everyone that Jade Cargill was never there for Bianca. Not like she was. Not when it mattered. It felt raw. It felt real. And it made you wonder, is Naomi the villain here? Or is she the one finally forcing Bianca to face some uncomfortable truths? Naomi was clearly emotional. But before she could fully reveal what she planned to do after WrestleMania, Jade Cargill's music hit, and that's when everything changed. Because what happened next wasn't just storyline. It was a shift in power, emotion, and loyalty. As Jade stormed the ring, ready to confront Naomi, Bianca, who'd just been accused of ignoring her former friend, stepped between them. For the first time in months, Bianca didn't walk away. She didn't freeze. She didn't side with Jade like she did weeks earlier. She shielded Naomi with her body, physically blocking Jade from making a move, and it stopped everyone in their tracks. Why would Bianca do that? Just weeks ago, right after Elimination Chamber, she literally stepped aside and gave Jade permission to destroy Naomi. She wanted nothing to do with Naomi's drama, and now she's protecting her? Is this guilt, second thoughts, or something deeper, something she doesn't even understand yet? The stare down between Jade and Bianca that followed wasn't just about tension, it was a reminder that these two are on a collision course. And now, Bianca's refusal to let Jade touch Naomi has shifted the entire story. Jade called her out, clearly confused and frustrated. But before anyone could throw a punch, Rhea Ripley entered the scene. And then, in classic Naomi fashion, she pulled off a slick, unexpected move, shoving Jade into Rhea and Bianca and escaping the chaos she helped create. But that moment wasn't about Naomi, it was about Bianca, and the choice she made to protect someone she's been running from for weeks. Because that one decision changes everything. It tells us Bianca isn't as done with Naomi as she wants everyone to believe. Maybe she never was. Fans have been speculating about this for a while now, that Bianca's silence wasn't apathy, it was conflict. Deep down, maybe she never agreed with how Naomi handled things with Jade Cargill. But now, with so many layers of betrayal and uncertainty stacking up, Bianca might be seeing Naomi's side differently. Maybe Naomi was right all along. Maybe Jade really wasn't the friend Bianca thought she was. And maybe, just maybe, it's not too late to fix what was broken. If that's where this story is going, then we're headed towards something dark and dangerous. Because Bianca and Naomi were once the happiest, most electrifying duo in WWE. They danced, they smiled, they were magic. But if the plan now is to bring them back together under a completely new light, a heel version of their alliance, then WWE might be about to unleash one of the most dominant forces we've seen in years. Just picture it, Naomi, who's already reinvented herself as a slick, cunning, take-no-prisoners heel, and Bianca, fueled by betrayal from fans who once loved her, deciding that if the audience doesn't want her as a hero, then she's done playing that role. Together, they'd be unstoppable. No more smiles, no more dancing. Just pain. And think about the symbolism. Bianca protected Naomi on SmackDown, and what did she get for it? Even more boos. The crowd still hated her, still turned on her, still shut her down. So why would she keep trying to please them? Why stay loyal to people who clearly aren't loyal to her? A full heel turn for Bianca makes perfect sense right now. Not just because the fans are done with her character, but because she might be done with them too. This would also flip the dynamic heading into the eventual Bianca vs. Jade showdown, because if Bianca does go full heel and realigns with Naomi, then Jade Cargill becomes the de facto babyface of the story, and she's ready for that role. Fans love her. She's got charisma, power, and presence. Letting her go up against a newly darkened Bianca Belair in a WrestleMania main event would feel like the final chapter of this entire saga. And let's not forget the unfinished business. Naomi was about to announce her next move before Jade interrupted. What did she plan to do after handling Jade? Go after the world title? Come after Bianca directly? Or was she going to propose something even more shocking, an official reunion with Bianca Belair? Not as friends, but as a ruthless unit that WWE can't control? WWE planted a lot of seeds on SmackDown. Bianca's crowd rejection, Naomi's emotional speech, the stare down with Jade, the strange moment of protection, and then Naomi's sneak attack to close it all. It's all building towards something, whether it's betrayal, reunion, or revenge. One thing is clear, Bianca Belair is at a crossroads, and whatever direction she chooses next will redefine not only her career but the entire women's division. Because this isn't just about who gets the title, it's about who controls the narrative. Naomi wants to expose Bianca's silence, Jade wants to settle scores, the fans want something new, and Bianca? She might just want to burn it all down. So what happens now? Does Bianca finally embrace the boos and turn her back on the fans forever? Does Naomi lure her back into an alliance with promises of power and revenge? Does Jade stand tall as the last one standing? Or will she be outnumbered and outmatched by two women who once hated each other but now have a common goal? That's the question WWE wants you asking, and judging by this week's chaos, we won't have to wait long for the answer. Let me know if you want the next script to cover their actual WrestleMania match, post-match fallout, or a swerve idea that's not been done yet.